mood. So I'm hoping we can just kind of have like sit on the couch and talk about your story. How does that feel?
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Oh, we need to manage background noise, honey.
Oh, on me?
No, my 1-year-old is.
Oh.
She has found her voice.
I may have some airplane noise or, them calling things out, but I couldn't. This is the quietest place I could find.
Oh, you're perfect, honestly. Awesome. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. You've been joining us every week. It has been so good to hear so many incredible stories. One of the things I love about this industry and this business is hearing so many different people from different backgrounds, different skill sets. I mean, everything, right? And see their success. And not only their success, but see how different people came to fall in love with the same company that we're in love with and how they're using it to really fuel their own passions. And that's really what's so exciting about Isagenix is we get to do that. Bring out the best in people, give them a vehicle to run and see what they can do to improve the world. So tonight we are so lucky and blessed to have Laura with us. And Laura, again, thank you. I know how busy you are right now, and I just appreciate you making this happen. We're going to go straight into our call, guys. You guys know how this works. I'm going to put Laura up on the big screen. Here we go. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Is it okay if I just brag about you for a second, Laura?
Oh, yeah.
I know you don't love it.
I don't. I'm just like you. I'm a mom of 4.
Mom of 4. Well, let me just give a quick, some of these people are new to Isagenix, so let me just kind of tell them what you've been able to accomplish in Isagenix, and then I'm going to let you tell your story.
Okay.
All right. So within Isagenix, Laura has received a lot of accolades in the last couple of years, guys. And I remember seeing Laura at one of my very first events in Washington, University in Action with David Wood, and just immediately falling in love with this just bright, beautiful woman. And so it's no surprise to me that she has done what she has done. In 2015, she was Leader of the Year. She was Spirit of Isagenix Award winner in the same year. She was an ambassador for the START program, which we're so passionate about, and the START movement, and was awarded in 2016-2017 Leadership Growth Award. She is also trained at over 12 huge company events around the world. So we are very, very honored to have her with us tonight. And Laura, what I would love, and I know you have a few things you want to share, but what I'd really love is for you to share, where was your mindset in this industry before Isagenix, and where were you as a mom and wife and woman, and what kind of brought you into this industry, and how did it kind of just happen?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I love what you're doing, Trisha, and how you give back to the entire Isagenix community. That is one of my favorite things about you. So cheers to you and all the hard work you put in behind the scenes to organize all this. So we love you so much, and you're making a big difference. In terms of my story, I was actually introduced to Isagenix 7 years ago now by my best friend, Kelly. She sat next to a lady named Janie Elo on an airplane and said to me, "Well, you need to cleanse with me." I am so sorry. Listing out so many names. Is it super loud on your end, or can you still hear me over her talking?
We can hear you over talking, but we don't mind if you have to pause also.
Okay. So she came right up to me and said, "Laura, you need to cleanse with me. We're going to get our natural energy back." And I was so skeptical. I did not want anything to do with network marketing. I did not want anything to do with cleanses. I had such a bad taste in my mouth for network marketing as a military wife, and I was fine. I ate gluten-free. I have celiac disease, and I'm just like, I got the nutrition thing down. I'm good. Good luck. And she didn't know about the business opportunity right away, but she just kind of pushed forward and really saw the business opportunity soon after and ended up changing her life. I watched her for 3 years. I even referred people to her. My own little sister had signed up in her organization at one point. So people, you can be very successful and you still have a lot of people watching you even years in. And she actually became an Isagenix millionaire in 3 years. And I had just turned 30. I had had 3 babies in 3 years. I was exhausted, hiding in the shell of me. I was wearing Empire waist dresses all the time and eating gluten-free cupcakes every afternoon at 3 or 4 to kind of get myself through the afternoon. I remember having to literally walk laps around our neighborhood at night because I was having like anxiety attacks and just being so sad that I was going to have to wake up and do the same thing again the next day. It was really hard for me. Motherhood was wonderful and I love my kids, but I realize I'm much better 70% mom than 100% mom. So it was just really hard. I was really unhappy. We were in a lot of debt. John and I were fighting all the time about money. It killed him to be in debt, but I did not have a good money blueprint, and I had to spend the money, but he was trying to save it. So it was a really awkward place. His military career was really taxing on us, and we never had fun. We were not having fun. We were just having babies and keeping his career together and trying to make life semi-happy. And I kind of just thought that's what I had to settle for. And then I was watching Kelly on social media and thinking, I can't, so many times I was like, I can't believe she's talking about money, or, oh, geez, not another before and after. When so desperately I realized that was what I wanted to do. And I actually tried to go to work to prove that isogenics wasn't right. I was about to go back to become a high school health teacher. I was getting my master's. I thought I might bartend. I looked into a couple other companies of products I was already buying, thinking maybe I could do that. But no one was ever as successful as Kelly was, or I felt brought that same life-changing opportunity. So she came down to Top Achievers in Southern California, and I picked her up at the airport. I was just going to spend some time with her, and I took her to lunch, and I started sobbing over lunch and just said, I'm in. I'm ready. I need this. And she looked at me, and she's like, I know right now that by how hard you're crying, you are going to do really well. And I couldn't see it at the time, but I went home with mass anxiety that night. Like, what am I getting myself into? And it's almost like the minute the light switched in my head, I was just like, I need this. I have to have this. This has to work. And John was in the field. So I just ordered both of our systems, 2 value packs. He had no clue what was happening. And he came home and I was like, we're doing isogenics. And he was like, what? Because we had not been openly unsupportive, but we were definitely not supportive of her. We would whisper, like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that. Kind of a general tone of not really understanding. So when I told him what we were doing, the one thing he said to me was, he was like, all right, Laura, I will support you and I will do this, but you better be all in. And I was like, okay. It just felt a lot of pressure all of a sudden. So I felt so much internal pressure by me and external pressure from him to be successful. And I literally jumped in like cannonballs in for the business. So what I want people to understand is that I was like so business heavy from day 0. I knew I wanted the business. I knew I needed to take the products. Literally, I didn't care when I got the box if the products tasted like dirt. I knew I would figure out a way to like them. I just needed this to work for me. So I think so often, we were talking about it today actually at corporate in a meeting, is it just shows the importance of taking the top-down method. And for those of you that believe so heavily in the opportunity, like Kelly did, really pursuing and projecting the opportunity to people and then defaulting to the products if that's not for them. Because it's so much easier to do that than to do the opposite, starting with the products and trying to bring people into the opportunity. And so I think so often we do that because it's more comfortable. But if you can get a little braver and bolder and more convicted about sharing the opportunity first, that's really what. So that's kind of how I came out of the gate. I remember Kelly took me aside. I think month 2, we went up to Oregon where I grew up and did a little Oregon road tour where she came with me to a couple cities. And she said to me, after sharing my story once, she's like, you're lying. And I said, I'm not. Like, what do you mean I don't lie? She said, Laura, you aren't saying that you joined for the opportunity. You're telling everybody that you were a tired mommy. You know that you came for the opportunity. And I was like, okay. So right from the get-go, I got bold about sharing that, and just from a really honest place, always said isogenics will be the vehicle that will help me pay off our debt. And it just started from there. So Kelly was in Washington State. I was in California. Every night, you guys, I stopped watching TV. I didn't go to movies. I did not go on vacation for at least 2 years. Any traveling was always for Isogenics. There was literally zero negative entertainment in my life. Any extra time I had outside of being mom was spent on Isogenics. I would stay up late watching Susan's live videos on YouTube. I would wake up in the morning and go to the gym before John would go to work and listen to podcasts. All throughout the day, I was on calls. I was doing meetings. I was doing everything I was physically possible, like physically able to get other people in my business. So getting in front of people, joining new groups, meeting new people. I started to clear my life out of obligations that were taking me away from this. So saying yes to leading Bible studies, leading MOPS groups. Those were all things I did before. And I had to start saying no because I needed to make space to be able to lead an organization like this. So it was really hard. And sometimes I find a lot of people still dragging their feet and doing their old life. But so many people to me said, oh my gosh, Laura, you've changed. And that used to offend me so much. But I thought, holy moly, I'm so glad I have. Because if I hadn't changed, I would still be in that place. So that was, I mean, John deployed at about 6 months in. I had just hit, I think, 2-star or 3-star right around that point. So, I mean, you guys, I hit executive in in not 30 days, 3 months. It was like, I went and I hit it. And I'm trying to think, my true leaders came when I started to go to that 2 to 3-star mark. I pretty much got to executive by a lot of loving family members and friends and, a couple people that just brought into accountability partners. But that's when I started to really have to understand how to do this business. So I poured myself into University in Actions, leadership stuff. I had no clue what this business was about. I went to my first Eric Worre event. I only think you need to go to one because I just feel like if you get your belief up to a 10 in network marketing, you don't really have to keep going. But that was huge for me. I did not believe in network marketing, so I had to get to a 10. And then John deployed, and so I was home with a 3, 2, and 1-year-old by myself while he was, gone. And I just poured all sadness, all loneliness, all extra time into building this and said, I knew when he got back that our lives would be so different. I was determined to take every dollar that Isogenics had on that table because we so desperately needed it. And again, blinders, like complete blinders. So he left. I actually went from 3-star to 7-star while he was gone in like 7 months. It was insane. It was so fast. It was like the fastest, craziest run of my life. I had cystic acne. I was like barely sleeping. My house was a wreck. I was a really bad mom at times. I think these are the things that, Trisha, we talked about that you wanted people to talk about. And I remember literally holding the garage door shut because my kids were fighting on the other side and screaming, and I had to finish a call. And it was so, like, my life was crazy. I would put on a movie in my van and drive around in circles to do 3-way calls because I didn't have anybody to watch them sometimes. I really still wanted to do nap time. I still really wanted to do, bedtime and all that. So that was important to me. But at the same time, I still wanting to control so much. I was running myself ragged. I was being a really mean mom because I was so stressed. So I started to get some help. I found what I called like a nanny, like a super helper who would help me do dishes and the kids' laundry and watch the kids a couple days a week so I would have some time. That was huge for me. And then I would just rally friends and family to watch the kids so I could travel. I never let my kids be an excuse as to why I couldn't attend an event. I was at every single event while John was gone. I tapped out all family that we had, all friends, and I ended up, finding a really great nanny that could watch them while I was gone, and just started making tons of sacrifices to get there. And by the time John came back, we paid off all of our debt, and we, we're on the track to do big things. So I think there's so much to be learned, I think, from our experience. And I so often get people, unfortunately, comparing themselves to me, which I want to free people of, because I want people to understand that I ran for student council every single year in high school. I was speaking at assemblies in high school, before I even knew about this. I went to a college and knew no one and had to make friends. Joined a sorority knowing no one. having to make friends. I was married in the military. We moved 7 times in 10 years of marriage. I had to make new friends everywhere we went. And I always would put myself out there and get involved. And so my network when I started was at a completely different place than somebody who's lived in the same town their whole life, or who's been, more of a homebody. And it is a much different build to build your network while building your business and to have a great network settled before you build. And that was a huge leg up for me. So there was just so much that I was never in sales or never in network marketing, but I realized a lot that I had in my life. I mean, there was summers in college that I would have 3 jobs because I just had such a desire to work hard and have my own money and make something of myself. I was a business marketing major. I mean, I was a marketer for Goody Hair Ties, Toyota Prius, Snickers Marathon Energy Bar. So there's just so much in my background that I realized that God so beautifully allowed me to go through, experience, to set me up for in a sense, the perfect storm when I joined Isogenics. So please, when you're comparison is a thief of joy. And I love celebrating with my teammates who make an extra $500,000 a month. That's giving them those extra target runs, those be able to get their nails done. I just think it's so important that we own who we are and celebrate the small wins along the way. Because what I find so often is people comparing themselves to the big stories or a huge success story like we've had, and feeling like they're failing instead of being able to look inside and see the small things at Isogenics might seem small to you, but could be really big at your life now or in the future that Isogenics is doing for you. So something that was also huge to me was leadership. And I so badly wanted to have a team. And I felt like I'd missed the boat on Kelly's team. She had like all these people rocking and rolling, and I came in. And so I started my own team from a very early stage and really, really enjoyed it. I created, if there weren't enough fun events and Isogenics events, I'd create my own. I mean, I had my own executive retreat within my first year of being in this business. There was 6 of us there, and it was so special to me, but I took so much leadership responsibility on me. And I always thought, how could I ever ask anybody to do this, to do something I'm not? So every time I would talk about the 90-day game plan, I would run back to executive again. I just took leading from the front so seriously. How could I ask my team to be at events if I wasn't there? How could I ask them to get on calls if I'm not getting on calls? How could how can I be a product? How can I ask them to be products of the product? I'm not a product of the product. So I think that those are really important. I think something else that's incredibly important is just understanding you will never have balance. Life, striving for balance is just striving for failure in my mind, because there will always be days, lives, seasons where one thing will overtake the other. It's really almost literally impossible for a sustained amount of time to live in balance. And so I just throw that word out the window, and I just say, what do I need now? What's the next season look like for our family? Because there have been seasons of intense sacrifice and stress to get what we have now. Kelly said, you work your behind off for 2 years and you will set your business up for a lifetime. We hit millionaire in 2 years. So that was like, I again drug every minute out of the time I had and maximized every second to help our family's future change. But then over this last year, while we've been in Nebraska, I had my 4th baby. We moved to a new place. We're really in an interesting spot there, not super happy. And it's been a different season. But if I went through bad postpartum stuff with her, if I would have said I have to build then, as I did in the beginning, I might have killed myself, literally. It wouldn't have happened. So it's just realizing, yes, that we have priorities, not balance. Trisha, that's it. That's exactly it. And I know so many of you on the call know this, but I also just want to remind you, because I think so often mommy guilt takes over or business guilt takes over. And it's like, no, what do you want most now? And you need to figure that out, and you need to figure out why that means the most to you and go forward. We were in debt. We were so uncomfortable. We could never travel. I could never give my kids what we wanted. So scraping every single dollar from that comp plan and getting it for my kids was such a huge priority to me. That was my why. That was everything. I based everything on maximizing our income. And the ranks came and the recognition came. I have so many people like, oh, I want to speak. It's like, no, work hard, put your head down. And if that's what you want, your actions will show. Your corporate recognizes people who are doing things so I was just put my head down and worked, right? And I think sometimes that's hard for some Reds to understand or to accept. Um, Gosh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else. Is there anything else? Do you have any specific questions for me?
Laura, I would love if you talked about, in the beginning, you kind of mentioned your money mindset was low when you started. Can you talk about that for a minute and how that shifted?
Yes. So I was raised in a family where we were actually on reduced lunches growing up. I was taught to shop from the clearance rack or with coupons. And what I realized was that type of belief was really limiting me. It was coming from a place of scarcity as opposed to abundance. And I had to go to work on that just as much as I had to go to work on my belief in network marketing. So I read Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. But what I also realized is that years before, again, setting me up for success, we had started Financial Peace University through Dave Ramsey. And I had to understand how to operate with money. We had to set up some strict guidelines in that John did all the finances. I can't. I'm not good at it. I had to learn where money was to go, the importance of investing. I really had to start to understand peace financially. And that's why I say Financial Peace University was huge for me. So by the time we had started Isogenics, my mindset was in a better place. It wasn't in the place of abundance. It was in the place of responsibility. Like I tackled that. I was being responsible. We had never stopped. We'd stopped overspending, but we just didn't have enough. And he says it in his things. You don't have enough income to pay off that debt, and you're just here. You've got to get more money. You only have so much money per month. So that's kind of when Isogenics came in, and then to get the millionaire mindset. I think we're all not a millionaire yet for a reason, right? So we kind of need to go to work tackling that. Why aren't we millionaires yet? What's been holding us back from that? Is it work ethic? Is it wanting to spend every dollar you have? Is it? And I laugh and just get shocked at people who I know still have debt and still have so many problems, but financially, but sit there and like spend all this money that Isogenics is giving them. You guys, I wear the same clothes. Kelly literally gave me a big plastic bag of clothes when I had a baby, when she started Isogenics, and because I wasn't able to buy new clothes, and I lived still in that place of not really buying anything extra until it was all gone. Any extra money was either spent giving back to my team or getting me to an event. I found a way to wear my old clothes, or every once in a while started to buy new, but I didn't start getting my hair done as much or getting nails done every week. Like all of that stuff came later. So I think really the people that I see with the most healthy financial mindsets are the ones that are getting their why taken care of and being responsible with the money Isogenics is giving them in order to then benefit from the wealth later. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. That was perfect. And something that I wish I would have learned earlier on. I had to learn it the hard way, and I'm so grateful to understand the importance of being a wise steward with the blessings you're given.
Yeah. And we talked about that. I talked about that with Christina actually the past few days I'm here. I feel like they need to do a call on like Step Up to 2 Stars, something talking about saving for taxes and what you can write off, what you can't, all of that stuff, because I think that's just, we are our own business owners now. And that was very new to me. So we had to go to work getting a good accountant and really like figuring all that out, being smart with it.
Yeah. So before you go, Laura, I've had a few people ask the same question. So if you can talk about just for a minute, what did it look like leading with the business opportunity? When you talk about the top down, which I love, by the way, the top down of the opportunity, and if you're not interested, here's the products, right? So how did you go about doing that?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So I always shared the opportunity side. So it would be like what I am, I'm trying to think about how I would do it. So social media, I was always alluding to it. I was always talking about the business side and the products. It was both. It was never just one. I would celebrate people so openly when they're moving up in the business, so people knew very clearly I was doing the business. I told friends and family my big dream was to pay off all of our family's debt. I know Isogenics will be the vehicle. So my money story, I'd already written it in my head. My business story was written. it was so solid and secure in my heart as to where I wanted to go. That's why I think vision boards can be so, so powerful and so needed, because people need to see that you have a business vision, and you need to feel confident in your business vision in order to share it in a way that that confidence brings people in and draws them in. So I think so often I would have people join me for the products, yes, but even from the very first conversation, I'd be saying to people, I'm so excited that Isogenics is going to be the vehicle that pays off all of our debt. And so that was always dripped in there. And then I would go back to talking about the nutrition a little bit, but I really built my attraction marketing to really, really bring people in for the business. And then all of my activities were like, how can I rank advanced people? How can I, like, every time I wanted to go for a goal, it was never what in my rank am I going to hit? It was like, who am I going to help to then help me get there? So I think that's so often what I see people unfortunately do is just focusing on their business and trying to get tons of product users and enrollments. But I kept thinking of like, who's going to be my next consultant? Who's going to be my next manager? Who's going to be my next executive? And sharing my vision so openly and confidently that it would hopefully light a fire in them and help them dream too. And then often that included me going to their websites, their Facebook pages, and doing a little research before I would get on a call with them, and being able to say, like, what if, like, I see how hard you're working, or I see how sweet your kids are. I'm sure you, like, I can only imagine how hard it is to have to leave them every day. I would love to know what your dream day would look like if, you had all the time in the world to spend with your kids, and you just get them dreaming a little bit, and then I would just listen. I think so often people talk, and share without asking the right questions to then listen. Jack's Empire's cake recipe, it's a great way to connect, to get people talking. It's a video on YouTube that I suggest you all go watch. But we also have to be a little bit of a private investigator so we can kind of cast that vision for some people who maybe don't know how to dream. I also think, too, really quick, we're storytellers. So I went to ISA FYI or listened to the podcast and made sure to listen so clearly to the different stories that were being shared and different people's success stories. So I almost had this little arsenal with me that I could be like, oh my gosh, you should hear my friend Lindsay. She was, own a Papa John's, and it was so hard. It was so stressful. And look what she's being able to do with 5 kids. I shared other people's successes, love you, Linz, before I had my own. And I would share Kelly's story, and I spent so much time becoming a story collector too, so that I could just go and be, cast that hope through other people's stories. So make sure taking time to do that, because there will most likely be people that they relate to in this business more than you. Their story would mirror someone else's, but you can be that connection point for them. You can bring it all together and tie it up with a big bow.
Thank you so much, Laura. I just love you. I'm feeling a little bit emotional right now, Laura.
Are you there? I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just thank you so much for going first. I know we've talked about this in the past. Like we came in at a similar time, and there were times that I compared myself against you. We've talked about that, and yet it is so. What I love about this company is how we want each other to succeed so much, and we get to celebrate your success and see what's possible. And that's what's important, is we need to celebrate the success in this company, because it's possible, and it's good. It's possible for everybody, right? So thank you so much for just sharing the walking moments, the garage incident. So relatable.
Yeah.
I have been.
And just so you know too, well, and to tell you a little bit really quickly about how John and I are doing this. I'm trying to make sure my plane's not boarding. Okay. So I want you to know too that we're partners in life, but I'm still mostly building this business. He's not really, he's helping me in a lot of ways, and we can go into that another day. But I think so often people look at us and think our marriage is amazing. And we've had fights where I've literally got out of the car and walked home because we couldn't figure out what to do and how to walk through this together. And through counseling and strength finders and help, it's like, we're in such a great place of mutual respect now and understanding about what our different roles are. But that's just another part of like, I don't want you guys to feel or see, like, remember that you might see the highlight reels on social media, but I hope you all know that there's a lot of kicking and screaming moments behind the scenes that aren't quite as pretty. But I choose to respect him and put us in a, I don't know. Yeah, Sammy, we talked a lot about that, we could do that another day, but not, yeah. So there's just a lot of real there too. I love doing real.
Yeah. Well, and I was just talking to some girlfriends today about that. I mean, it's the real that it's supposed to be hard because we're growing, right? And if we weren't growing, it'd be easy and comfortable. We would not be happy. Did you hear that? I was freezing a little bit. Could you hear me, Laura?
Oh,
dang it.
Okay.
Our connection's a little wonky right now. There we go. Can you hear me, Laura?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. We're going to close here, but I was just saying that's how it's supposed to be. If it was easy, we wouldn't be happy. Like, the growth is hard, but it's what brings so much joy into our life.
Yes. Very much so. And I love so many of you guys. Thank you for so many sweet messages. I mean, it just goes back to this community is incredible. And I can't thank you enough for all of your positivity that you're showing today. And yeah, so thank you.
You're welcome. Any closing remarks, Laura? I'm gonna let you close it off.
Well, what I need to say is that I just spent the last few days at corporate really working on branding strategies, marketing strategies, and I cannot tell you, like, I sometimes wonder how we can get better, and it's only getting better. I mean, everything that they're setting up in corporate and from behind the scenes is just above and beyond. So I just want you all to understand you are in the right place at the best time. And if anything, I want you all to come away from this call with a burning desire in your belly to give this gift forward and go and maybe message a few people that you've been holding back on sharing the opportunity side with, getting a little more bold, maybe being that top-down approach, knowing that the gift in this opportunity could truly change lives, and you're going to help people align with the best of the best. So I hope that helps give you a little bit of a boost there, and just to be brave, because we can all be in the best shape of our lives and have the most energy in the world, but if we don't have money, there's no way we can be truly healthy. So you guys have just got to go out there and share about this amazing opportunity, and I guarantee what you put out, you will get in. So you're going to get more business builders in the more brave you are about talking about the opportunity. So
beautiful. All right, Laura, thank you so much. Have a safe flight. I can't wait to hear about
you guys.
We love you.
Love you. Have a good night. Thank you.
For all of those, I'm going to